Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, Ireland's set to vote on whether to repeal the ban on abortion, but polls showing it's still way too close to predict the outcome. Also, we'll be talking to Irish journalist Joyce Fegan on what's been a divisive campaign with already accusations that campaigners are resorting to some of the same tactics used in the US presidential election and the Brexit referendum to sway undecided voters. And we'll also be taking a look at the Central American nation El Salvador that has one of the most draconian laws on abortion, which means any woman who miscarries can be suspected of seeking a termination. But we begin in Ireland, which on May 25th will vote on whether to repeal what's referred to as the Eighth Amendment, that effectively enshrines a ban on abortion within the Constitution. At present, a woman can only terminate when remaining pregnant could kill her. As a result, it forces many to carry out the procedure in England, as Julia Kim reports.
When Amy Callaghan fell pregnant a second time last year, joy soon turned to fear. 12 weeks into her pregnancy, doctors discovered the fetus had a fatal birth defect. Amy decided to have an abortion, but in Ireland, doing so meant she risked 14 years in prison. So like over 3,000 Irish women each year, Amy flew to Britain to have the procedure.
All I was thinking on the flight was, how many women are on this flight travelling to get an abortion that they need? You feel like a criminal. You feel like you're doing something wrong. And you just feel so sad. I think we were just so sad and hurt by it, hurt by the whole country thinking that we were criminals.
On May 25th, Irish citizens will be asked whether they want to repeal the Eighth Amendment. Enshrined in the Constitution in 1983, it effectively forbids abortion, except in the most extreme cases. Abortions are only permitted if the pregnancy puts the mother's life in danger. In this majority Catholic country, opinions are deeply divided.
I believe the only person who gives life and takes life is God.
I've done my homework and I know that it's never medically necessary. Like, abortion kills the unborn child.
Recent polls show the pro-choice yes camp are in the lead. But with many still undecided, a dramatic late swing to a pro-life no vote is still on the cards.
Joining me now from London is Irish journalist Joyce Fegan, who writes for the Irish Examiner and has covered this issue extensively. Joyce, thanks very much for your time. The pace of change in Ireland is extraordinary. 3 years ago, the country voted yes to same-sex marriage. Your Prime Minister is openly gay and from a minority community. But when it comes to voting to repeal that ban on abortion, that still seems to be a red line for many people.
It's an extremely divisive and sensitive issue here in Ireland, and here we are in 2018 asking people to remove the Eighth Amendment in its entirety. In recent polls, it shows that it will carry, but it's extremely tight.
Well, why is this the case?
In 1983, when it was inserted into the Irish Constitution, it needs to be pointed out that it wasn't the government that started this move. A group of approximately 15 organisations came together to form the Pro-Life Amendment campaign. About 12 of these were Catholic organisations, so it does stem from Ireland's Catholic ethos.
And this is an unusual referendum, isn't it, in the fact that the government has very much taken a back seat and it's been organised by civil society. What impact is that itself having on the campaign?
That's a great point. Because it isn't government-led, it is very much grassroots. But as you say, it's extremely divisive. The leading party in the government at the minute, they're even split on it. They have a vote of conscience. So it's very much a grassroots movement with all sorts of different people. We have lawyers, former attorney generals. We even had an Irish Nobel laureate come out today to say that people should vote to repeal it. And
you mentioned there the Catholic Church. And the vote does seem to be, or rather people's opinions about the vote, seems to be a reflection of their rather complicated relationship with the church.
It seems that the Catholic Church is very much the reason why people have this kind of default pro-life position in Ireland. The schools were Catholic, primary and secondary. And when you would be in school, you would receive very limited sex education. Even up to recent times, you would be given poems about the unborn. You would be given little badges with small feet on them. So it seems that most people would be pro-life by default until they kind of come up against the realities of life and realise that people seek terminations for all sorts of reasons.
But for outsiders, you've got the dichotomy that 3 years ago, Ireland voted yes to same-sex marriage.
Same-sex marriage and abortion seem to be two very different issues. In the lead-up to the marriage equality referendum the week before, the conversations on the doors with canvassers and with the people of Ireland, it was all about love, it was celebration. When it passed by 62% in May of 2015, there were jubilant celebrations in Dublin and the capital. It's unlikely that if this passes next Saturday, the vote's on Friday, that there will be similar celebrations, because it's not about love, it's not about happiness.
And there's also been accusations that campaigners are adopting tactics used in the US presidential election in 2016 and also with the Brexit vote, with even Facebook banning foreign groups from buying advertisements relating to the referendum. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So in and around January just gone, these three civically minded people, transparency experts and kind of IT experts, came together and they set up the Transparency Referendum Initiative. They started tracking the Facebook ads and they started seeing how there was a lot of ads coming in from foreign places, you know, different organisations in different countries, some actually in France, a lot in America, and they were all on the no side of the campaign, and they would be, you know, referring to things like Down syndrome as a grounds for abortion. In the proposed legislation in Ireland, though, disability is not a grounds to be given an abortion. So then there was a lot of discussion and debate around this. It was totally unregulated, and Facebook themselves came out and said that they were banning foreign ads.
As a woman journalist covering this campaign, how has it personally affected you?
I'm 33 years of age. I don't have any children. I'm recently married, but I'm of, you know, childbearing age, should I say. It seems extremely personal. It seems very divisive. I've never voted on this issue before, and yet I don't get to have a say over my own body were I to be pregnant and were something to go wrong, that the rights that I have over my body are suddenly abdicated the minute that I become pregnant.
Joyce Fegan, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now it's a country that has some of the world's strictest abortion laws, and those found guilty can face jail sentences of up to 30 years. In El Salvador, abortions are completely outlawed, even in cases of rape or when the mother's health is in danger. And for women who miscarry, there's a real risk that they could wind up behind bars too, as Catherine Viette reports.
Having an abortion in El Salvador is a crime, and women found guilty are locked up for a long time. 17 women are currently in San Salvador prison convicted of killing their babies, but they tell us a different story. Kenya Hernandez is serving a 30-year sentence. 18 and 8 months pregnant at the time, Hernandez says she felt a pain. It was late at night and she was home alone.
I tried to open the door, but the pain was very strong and I couldn't. I went back to bed. I felt that the baby was coming. I was scared. The baby was not responding. I didn't know what to do. I got up holding him and I cut the umbilical cord with a knife.
On the way to the hospital, Hernandez lost consciousness. When she woke up, she was accused of killing her child.
It was my first baby and I tried to find help. If someone had come to help me, he wouldn't be dead.
This young woman was another pregnant 18-year-old when she began bleeding profusely 4 months into her term. She lost a baby at the hospital.
A medical examiner came and told me I was accused of aggravated homicide. They explained that I was being arrested for having aborted. They said I caused the abortion, but that wasn't true.
The court ruled that it was an abortion and not a miscarriage. During the trial, she was given a court-appointed attorney. The verdict, 30 years in prison.
I was told that it was useless to talk, that the judge wouldn't take that well.
These women are all from the countryside, uneducated and without husbands or companions. The youngest is just 20 years old. This is the largest maternity hospital in San Salvador. In most cases, it's the doctors that call the police.
We have a legal obligation to inform, no matter the circumstance. Otherwise, we are complicit. That's what the law says.
This doctor is talking about El Salvador's draconian abortion law, which makes the procedure illegal. There are no exceptions, not for rape or incest, nor medical risks for the mother. Elected officials often justify the law's harsh measures by citing what they say is the biological danger of abortion.
A woman's body is programmed like a computer to give life. When you alter that, these biological conditions, there are changes in your body, and that starts to cause very big problems like cancer or other types of diseases.
But when asked if the anti-abortion law also ends up imprisoning women for having miscarriages, the MP didn't answer, saying that's up to the judges. Human rights groups are demanding a review of the imprisoned women's status and changes to the abortion law to make it less restrictive. For now, they are the voice for these 17 women.
And that's it for now. You can connect with us via our Facebook page, that of course being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far. And yes, please do keep those comments and suggestions rolling in. So until our next show, bye for now.